Welcome back. Episode 25 of the Full Program Golf Podcast. This week, I'm joined by Sam Jones. Sam goes by the Golf Fashion Guy on socials and is, without a doubt, one of my favourite accounts. He gives us amazing insight and also a list of brands that we need to be keeping an eye on. I think you're going to enjoy this one, so let's get into it. Sam Jones, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So you are the Golf Fashion Guy on socials. And I have to say, I'm incredibly excited to have this conversation because the content you push out really, really speaks to me. So I'll start you with an opening question. What's the outfit of the day?
Do you know what? This is cozy season it's a work from home day. It's bits and bobs going on. I've got a little Malvern fleece from their Tour Divot collection, which is about the coziest thing. You get a little look inside here, and it's like fleece season. It's beautiful. So yeah, it's cozy. Just some black joggers, which we don't need to show off the black joggers. But I thought I'd stick something cozy on for the afternoon. So
very good.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was going to go one of two ways. Number one, I was just like, spring is showing its head, and so I was just like, maybe the outfit of the day might not be as interesting as it could have been.
Yeah, I took the dog for a walk a second ago before hopping on, and it's warm out there, which no one's complaining about. But I might have been a little bit too warm in this, which it's the first time walking the dog that I could say I've been a little bit too warm for a while. So yeah, it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, 100% is a good thing. And I suppose the second part to that is you've worn something interesting. So that was also going to scupper my opening question. I think that Tour Divot collection and Malvern generally is very interesting at the moment. It's great to see what they're putting out, and obviously with their affiliation to Tour Pros as well, like they're certainly one of the brands we're speaking about the most at the moment.
Yeah, it's been to go back to the Tour Divots collection, I think is probably one of my favorites. It's the favorite drops they've done so far. It's a good collection in the sense of it's an interesting. So the inspiration behind it came from the divot patterns of tour players, with Stephen Malvern walking up and down a range, seeing the divot pattern. So you can kind of see they almost look like divot sections that have all been sort of amalgamated together. So it's quite a cool idea to put behind doing a limited drop, and the pieces in it are really cool. What I like most about Malvern is I like the stuff that they do that you necessarily wouldn't wear for golf. Which is a funny thing. Like, you could wear this fleece for golf, but ultimately it's a far more casual piece that you could wear to go and do anything, run errands, walk the dog, do whatever you need to do, and it's a piece that works very nicely for that. So yeah, they're a very interesting brand, very, very interesting brand in the space.
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about that hybrid use. I quite enjoy, I'm sure you follow Golf Projects on socials as well. Like, He does his kind of not for golf series, and it's always interesting to see what he's found that kind of he thinks might be a good hybrid piece. On Malvern, what's the background to Malvern? Like, I follow it. I know it obviously is the golf brand. I know who Stephen Malvern is. Is that what it is at its core? Like, did it transition from something else?
Yeah, it started, I think they started either just before COVID or they sort of gained popularity through it. And yeah, they kind of started off with the idea of trying to make some golf gear that was a little bit different to the norm. And they did a lot early doors that were hoodies and joggers and that sort of stuff that weren't necessarily for golf. And yeah, have just grown exponentially. They're not a brand that I have sort of a great depth of knowledge on. They're like, for me, what I like to wear is a little bit more of the mainstream stuff. As I said, like I like Malvern for the bits that I can sort of wear on the golf course. It's quite off the golf course, sorry, but I feel like they started off appealing to the people who sort of, I don't want to say the sort of the golf hipsters of the world, but they started to appeal to those individuals, and then have started to create more product that could be worn by sort of Joe Blogg's Sunday Medal, teeing it up, you know, and that sort of thing. So I think, and you see, we've seen a lot of brands come into the space in the last few years who have had to make that transition to, hey, we're going to cater to this side of things, but realizing actually social media is an interesting place. And if you follow golf fashion on social media, you would think all people ever wore were slightly wider leg trousers and, oversized polos and 90s looks and 2000s looks. And when really, if you boil it down, it's what are people wearing to play their Sunday morning medal? And that's still a lot of traditional gear. So if you want to have a brand that has the longevity, you kind of need to, at some point in the brand's journey, appeal to everyone. I think Malbon have done a great job of that over the last couple of years, rather than being sort of tied into a niche, sort of expanding to offer good. It's great quality gear. Like I've never had a Malbon product that I've ever looked at and thought, oh, that doesn't feel that great. Like it's all premium stuff, and that definitely translates when you're wearing it. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we touched on the Tour Pros. They've got a really interesting stable, obviously, with Jason Day, who has made a huge amount of headlines since he moved across. Charlie Hull, obviously, British golfer. Anthony Kim has just signed, and then he did his own kind of drop with them. And then, I don't know if you saw it. Have you seen that, by the looks of it, Steph Curry is going to be doing a collab with Malbon as well. So really interesting selection of people.
That's news to me. You're breaking news to me there of the Steph. The Steph stuff's really interesting because I know that Under Armour had a lot planned with him for this coming year, having seen some of the products last year, obviously prior to him announcing that there was going to be the split. It was going to be a really exciting sort of section lane for Under Armour to be in. I don't want to say along the Malbon lines, but it was definitely a lot of off-course stuff. It was a lot of, to be fair, really cool gear. Like it was good gear. And obviously the fact that now that he has sort of turned around and said this, obviously partnerships end. I don't know the ins and outs of how that came about, but yeah, it's sad that Under Armour aren't going to get to have that stuff out on in the market, but yeah, Malbon sounds like he's a perfect fit for the brand, right? He's in the mix. He's a cool guy. He dresses well. I think it's be a good one for them.
Yeah, I mean, just to put you at ease, like you are still finger on the pulse. Like I think it was spotted yesterday that he had some joggers on that had the Combo logo, and so people are kind of in the rumor mill now. So it'll be interesting to see what's announced. Talking about splits, obviously Tommy Fleetwood has split from Nike and been wearing a huge amount of stuff, including Malbon. If you're a betting man, where's Tommy Fleetwood going?
Do you know what? I really don't know, because I think that, having listened to a couple of his interviews, I think he's really enjoying the ability to wear what he wants. And so I think he's also said that he's not really in a rush to sign with anyone. I think so. It's an interesting space for tour pros. There's so much money in it now. Like it used to be beneficial for these guys to be signed to a brand and be paid by a brand to wear the product. It was an additional revenue stream. And for a lot of guys, DP World Tour, PGA Tour, from sort of outside the world's top 50, outside the world's top 100, like it's still a beneficial revenue source. But I think with obviously now JT as well, looking like JT might no longer be with Grayson, I don't think these guys necessarily need the money that comes along with signing with individual brands. So it's kind of interesting to see them deciding now that, okay, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what I like to wear and see what sort of moves the needle a little bit. And Tommy Fleetwood, right? If Tommy Fleetwood had gone straight from Nike and just gone straight to X brand, another brand, what they would have paid that X brand from Nike, they wouldn't have had to pay a lot for Tommy Fleetwood, aside from obviously the fact that he's top 5 in the world, just won Tour Championship, that sort of stuff. Obviously that commands a price tag, but all of a sudden he's had this month or so of wearing a few different things. Everyone in the golf fashion world is talking about him. The profile fashion-wise of his has just grown So it's, look, if it's intentional, it's genius. But the price for a brand now to come in and say, right, yeah, we're gonna sign Tommy Fleetwood. I think that number has risen quite a bit since he split with Nike, which is again interesting. He might have priced himself out of a lot of the brands that might want to make him a signing,
Yep.
but I think he's enjoying it. It's an interesting one. So it's a really winded way of answering who do
No,
I
no, I
think
love
he's
it.
trying for, but um, do you know what? I think Lululemon might be quite a nice one for him. I just
Yeah, I
worry
like
with
that.
Lululemon that they don't do a fantastic job of activating their stars.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the homers of the world, and I know Max hasn't played fantastic golf over the last year or so, um, but still, you don't see them doing enough for me social wise with them. You know, they almost do more with Roger Steele than they do with Max Homer, and I feel like I could be wrong, but I don't know if Max Homer or I don't know who's more expensive, Max Homer or Roger Steele to the
Well,
brand,
still,
but
the world we live in today, and
yeah,
presumably
probably,
is Lulu
yeah,
as well, isn't he?
yeah. So it's interesting. So I think he would be a good one for Lululemon. The trousers that he's been wearing are the Lululemon Daybreak trousers.
Hmm.
So they're the trousers that everyone's sort of losing their marbles over.
Yeah.
So you never know. Could be, but then obviously he wore some Sunday red, and he's worn some other bits and bobs. Worn a Jason Day hand me down Malbon jumper,
Yeah. Yep.
which you can't tell me that Tommy Fleetwood can't afford to go buy his own Malbon jumper, but it's a nice story. So yeah, it's an interesting world we're in at the moment.
Yeah, two things on that. So I am a huge ABC trouser man, and I know you are too. I
Likewise,
think they are, you talk about that slightly more traditional medal pair of trousers for a Sunday. Like I think the material, the fit. I'm quite a slender guy. Like they are an awesome golf trouser. And then my kind of second question, a brand you mentioned there is surely Sunday Red are going to nip one of these big names at some point. And I saw that JT potentially was an option, but it'll be really interesting to see because they've obviously got the money. Who they pick up.
yeah. The Sunday red. It's interesting. The JT one. I put it out there on my Instagram that I would basically eat my hat, do some form of a forfeit if he doesn't sign with Sunday red. And then someone put in the comments that obviously JT's a FootJoy guy. JT's been a
Hmm.
FootJoy guy for a long time. Sunday Red do shoes, so that might be a bit of a stumbling block for Sunday Red to get someone like JT into footwear that's not FootJoy. Like these
Hmm.
FootJoy tour players don't, the depths that they go into with the shoes that they wear. Um, to just flip flop between brands and even models within a brand's lineup is really rare. Like to try and get when we hear of this, oh, JT's moved into Hyperflex Carbon from Premiere last year or year before. Like that's a huge move. Like a lot goes into that. That maybe I think we us golfers we just buy new shoes and we might look at the tech behind a pair of shoes, or we might think, oh, I need a new spiked pair. These are comfy. I'll go for it. But these guys put so much more into choosing their footwear than I think even we really appreciate. So I think for JT to go to Sunday Red, that would be a huge jump for him footwear wise, more so obviously than the apparel. I think Sunday Red and Grayson don't share. They're pretty similar in
Hmm.
their aesthetic, I guess. You could get Grayson might have a few more prints in their lineup than Sunday Red do, but all in all, quality wise, I think you're going to see a very similar level of product. It'd just be the footwear that might hold that back. And then people were saying about Holderness and Bourne, which obviously Holderness and Bourne don't do footwear. So JT stays with FootJoy, and then wears Holderness and Bourne, which I think again would be another really nice move for him. They do some good quality gear. It's very minimal styles. It's what I would sort of call US old money kind of vibe. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what JT will do. Don't know what he'll do.
Yeah, talking about FootJoy. footwear, I probably got to thank you, as in I think I watched. I think it was your video of when the dry ice got the
Yeah.
Field LX dry ice got announced, and I remember thinking to myself, I quite like those. And so they are my summer shoe, if you will, right now. As in
Have you
Cape
worn
Town.
them?
Yeah. So I go to Cape Town for most of the winter. So my summer season starts kind of 1st of December. So I ordered them at release, which was November-ish time, I remember.
Yeah.
And yeah, they went out with me. So they did a couple of months out there, but they are firmly back away now. My home course is not a links course. And so I would be, yeah, it would be a poor move to get them out at the moment, but it's an exciting time when they will come out, because I know we're on the cusp of good weather and good golf. So they are part of the collection. And I think for me, they were the best shoe of last year. Like I love the speckled sole. I thought that the woven details was better than the collaboration one that they launched earlier. Just a class shoe. I've been a Premier guy for ages, but I enjoyed the kind of changing from the style.
Dry ice. Yeah, were one of the best drops, I think, from last year. Last year was a great year for shoes all round. Really good year, and so yeah, it was. I reckon I'd go as far as to say probably one of the best drops so far. Best years so far for limited drops. It's been getting better and better and better, and so yeah, it's just been we're on a great run, and this year as well. This year just looks, from what I've seen so far from the brands, and I get a little sneak peek at what's coming from some of these brands, and what is to come this year is you look at last year and how good last year was. I think this year will probably comfortably be better than last year, but I'm not talking sort of hype. Hype's great and everything, and hype obviously helps sell shoes, but ultimately, like, quality of product and good design and all that sort of stuff. I think we're in for a great year this year for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're in an amazing period of time, not just footwear, just golf in general, with fashion and the different bits of clothing and pushing new frontiers, I think. So we've kind of meandered our way through first 10 minutes here. Just before we kind of dive into more golf fashion, want to get a bit into your golfing background. I assume you're an avid golfer, being into the golf fashion as much as you are.
Yeah, I am an avid golfer. I started playing, so I was a footballer as a kid. Didn't really touch a set of golf clubs. Really, I played maybe once a year until I was about 14, 15. I stopped playing football when I was 16 or 17. And so, golf sort of became the sport that I gravitated towards. I liked the fact that I wasn't very good at it, but you felt every time you went out and played that you were getting better, and you wanted to beat your last score and keep beating your score and trying to improve and hitting better golf shots and all that sort of stuff. So golf sort of quickly took over for me around my late teens, and I turned pro, did my PGA after my university degree, spent 10 years as a PGA pro, which, working in a pro shop, was great for my love of golf clothing. I've always cared a little bit more about what I look like on the golf course than how I play. So yeah, it's been a good it was good time, good chance for me to get my hands on a lot of product working in a golf shop. My head pro was great at stocking a variety of brands. So we stocked Ralph Lauren, we stocked Jay Lindeberg, we stocked Hugo Boss, we had FootJoy, we had a little bit of Adidas at times, some G4. So I had like such a breadth of products to sort of really get my teeth into, and then I started my account end of 2017, start of 2018, around sort of Christmas time. I think it was end of December. I might have dropped my first YouTube video on the channel, which I always encourage people that if they struggle sleeping, go and check that one out. That will send you straight to sleep, that first video. But you have to start somewhere. It's
You have to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. If you don't
Yeah.
start, you'll never start. So it's been a good few years. But yeah, started end of 2017. Just always loved product. Even club wise, I used to, it's club. I was never going to do an Instagram account on clubs. One, I don't like clubs as much as I like shoes and shirts and the rest of it. But I felt like that was a fairly saturated marketplace at the time. You had well-established people who've been doing it for a very long time, and the thing with the apparel side, and especially the apparel side, end of 2017, 2018, there really weren't many people talking about shoes and that sort of stuff online. And you look at YouTube views and stuff. So TaylorMade bring out a new driver, and it's it'd be 50x the views I would get for talking about a pair of Dry Joy Tours. So it wasn't great from that perspective, but it's what I love to do and what I love to talk about. And the best sort of the success element of it for me was the fact that someone might send me a DM and say, look, I bought this pair of shoes because I watched your video and I love them. They're my favorite pair of shoes. And that for me was winning. That sort of supersedes, views and likes and all that sort of stuff was, it's cool to have gotten those messages over the years.
Yeah, nice. Super interesting, actually. I had no idea that you had a PGA background. So what year did you kind of conclude your life in coaching?
My training started 2012, 2013, and then I would have, or May 2012, and then I think I qualified. When did I qualify? I can't remember quite when I qualified, but I stopped working at my last golf club 2021, 2022. So sort of had 10 years or so as an assistant. So I was a junior organizer at the last club I worked at. I did all the kids academies and all the kids coaching and looked after junior section, and then did my hours in the shop and that sort of thing. So the page and the channel sort of always ran alongside that. And then I used to work. I used to have 1 day off a week, so I used to work 6 half days. Yeah. And then the half days I was at the golf club, I would teach either side of the half days. And then Thursday was always my day off. And invariably on a Thursday, I'd hit record on a YouTube video and try and get a YouTube video shot and edited and out on the Thursday. And it was just rinse and repeat every week. So it was trying to shoot some stuff around being being quite busy coaching and stuff, which was great. But that this was always a fun side thing that I did, that if I could get some posts out and get some videos out, great. And then it sort of started to snowball a little bit before COVID, and then it's it kind of grew and grew and grew to the point where I had to stop for a couple of years. This thing got me to a point where I got a nice job working for PXG, running social media for PXG, which I say to people, I was just a golf pro. I picked up a camera, sort of taught myself how to use it, sort of started a social media account, and sort of got to know how social media works, and managed to get myself a job working for a golf brand, running their social media, which was being a golf pro is a great life. I say this often, it's a great life, but it's a tough life from an hour's perspective. Like, weekends don't exist. I used to spend Saturday, Sunday at the golf club, and then I just needed a Monday to Friday. I needed a sort of a 9 to 5. I needed to see my wife, see my family a little bit more, and that job allowed me to do it, but it meant I had to sort of curb what I did social media wise, and then eventually left there a few years ago now, and it's sort of picked up since. So I lost a couple of years to it, but it was a great couple of years. Working for PXG was incredible. Like I spent time filming Gary Player fittings, and spent time with him and a few other players, few LPGA Tour players who are great. Had so much fun. So it was a lot of fun working for PXG. But it was a little bit of a pause on my own socials.
Yeah, interesting. On the PXG front, they obviously almost felt like a bit like a Melbourne. Like they kind of hit the
Mhm.
scene. They signed a load of tour pros. Clubs are out there, but especially in the men's game, I know Marco Penja's just gone to them, but like they
Mhm.
do feel like they've pulled back a little bit on their sponsored players. Do you have any insight as to kind of what was going on there?
The model there's always been interesting. They traditionally don't pay a base fee that's competitive with everyone else, but they provide nice, really good packages that reward performance. That's sort of always been. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say that or not, but I'm sure I'm sure it's not a problem to say it. But yeah, they always used to do. The contracts were always heavily weighted towards performance, uh,
Interesting.
and so. But I don't think that was necessarily the case right at the very beginning.
Hmm.
I think right at the very beginning, to make a bit of a splash, like people like Horshaw and people like Schwartzel as well as a couple of others. Uh, but yeah, it changed quite a bit in the time that I was there, and the tour thing was a little bit more down to uh, the I think it was like if you won with a driver in play, it was something like $1 million bonus or something like that. Some of the figures I think that's somewhat accurate. I'll probably be off a little bit. Obviously, I didn't get insights into players' contracts or whatever, but that was kind of the feeling behind it. Was you got paid very little as a staff ambassador, but if you won using the gear, then you would get rewarded quite nicely.
Yeah, interesting. I actually went to the PXG in Scottsdale in must have been
Oh wow!
2021 and kind of had a little
Oh
look
awesome!
around and stuff. I mean, frighteningly expensive kit for your weekend golfer. I actually remember bumping into Spencer Matthews off Made in Chelsea,
Oh,
and he'd been sponsored by them, and they'd
okay.
given him, I think they'd given him 50% off the irons, which were like 6 grand or whatever.
Mm.
And I was just like, so you've still paid 3 grand for a set of irons.
Yeah, it's
But
the brand changed quite a bit. So when I joined them, it was still quite. It was they were still pricey when I joined, and then by the time I left, they did the 0211 driver at 199. So it
mm,
kind of flipped on its head. They sort of
yes, mm,
aligned with the rest of the market. I think the idea of pitching yourself at the top 1%, making the brand look sort of unattainable for, let's say, the majority of golfers who maybe aren't that well off, aren't that wealthy, and then you drop the pricing down to, oh look, I never used to be able to afford PXG, but now I can.
yeah.
I think that was a little bit of the strategy, which yeah is the clubs have always been great. Like I always have people ask me, like I still have, I think my clubs are outside, but I still have 13, 13 PXG clubs in my bag. I left them in 2023.
So,
So
I mean, that might be a nice segue because I had it on my list to ask. So, obviously, you have a lot of attention to detail in terms of what you wear, what's in the bag. I know you have a partnership with Vessel as well, but it'd be super interesting. Like, you don't have to go through every single club, but like roughly speaking, like, what is your thought process behind what you got?
yeah, my clubs. Do you know what I haven't been a PGA Tour PGA Tour, definitely not a PGA Tour player. Haven't been a PGA Pro.
Yeah,
I have at times in my golfing life cared a lot about how I played. More so still about the clothing and stuff, but I used to play a few pro-ams here or there. So I have cared about my performance on the golf course before. Now I got my amateur status back a year or so ago. I think I'm playing off 2.1. I think it is now as my handicap. I don't practice at all. I played yesterday. I played a board comp yesterday. I'm a
yeah.
member at Prince's Golf
I,
Club. I
I
played
was
a
going to say,
board.
I see you down there a lot. I was wondering if that's where you play.
Yeah, that's my home club. I played a board
Nice.
comp yesterday, and I played one lot of 9 holes since end of Jan, and I haven't touched the club since. So I kind of just rock up on the morning, and whatever I have, I have. Yesterday, I did not have anything, so it was poor yesterday. But yeah, I don't spend too much time on my golf. Hence why my golf bag kind of hasn't changed too much in the time. So PXG are great every couple of years. I don't know if it's the same now, but every couple of years you've got a fresh 14 set of clubs, 14 clubs in the bag. So I still have my last staff set that I had when I left there. So I have a Black Ops driver. I have Gen 6 5-wood, 7-wood interchange with a 2-iron and the 7-wood, depending on if it's a Parkland or a Lynx. Most of my golf is Lynx golf, so the 2-iron tends to stay in the bag. And then I have I think it's 0317 CB irons. So they sort of did the blade and then do the CBs. That's sort of 4 to wedge, 50, 54, 58 Sugar Daddy 2s. And then I'm a big Scotty Cameron guy. It's borderline. It's not getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand relative to me and how many clubs I own. It'd be, I have sort of 4 or 5 Scotty Cameron putters, which is getting out of hand for me. That's obviously going to be very not out of hand for others. But for my own golf bag, I only need 1 putter in my golf bag at one time. My wife says, so why do I need all the rest of these ones? She will never understand, but that's fine. So
I'm internally grateful that I'm not a Scotty Cameron man, because I feel like if I was, I'd be down the same rabbit hole as everyone else. And I follow this guy on, I think he's on TikTok. I've got him. He's based out in America somewhere, and he's a short little guy with this huge moustache, and he's obsessed with Scotty Cameron. And I watch his videos, and I'm like, I'm just so glad I'm not in that boat.
I think is it Rat Lab? Does he go by Rat Lab? I think it is. I follow him on Instagram, and he's just like, I've just bought a $2,000 Circle T. I'm like, dude, how are you? What do you do for a living?
And he's on the flight over to the gallery, like where he just I think he takes like the last flight out. He goes and sleeps in the queue. Shops open, buys his limited edition head cover, and then flies back to wherever he lives. And I'm just like, wow, that is it's awesome insane. Dedication.
It is insane. I was lucky enough to visit the gallery in October last year, which was a very cool experience to get to have a little mooch around there. So it's I've got a few head covers and bits behind me. I've got like a couple of this is a St. Patrick's Day, and nice. I've got a Masters one, a Gopher Masters one, which is kind of cool. And I've collected a few, and then I've had I sent a putter off to the custom shop couple years ago, which got that all sort of what they can do. Like it was battered. It was an old Newport that was just, it was in the silver finish, and it looked like it had been in someone's golf bag for several years with that head cover. So you can kind of imagine what it might look like, dings and everything. And then I got it restored in the black finish, and it just looked like, you got out of the box and it looked like a brand new putter. It looked like they just
really
cut the head away, put a fresh head on it, and sent it away. It's insane what they can do. Really is. So I'm a big Scotty Cameron guy, long and short of it.
Yeah, no, I follow a couple of accounts that almost do this, like, God, I'm not even sure what you call the styling, but it's like almost like metallic purple that the color kind of changes through. I mean, it's amazing what they can do with the metal headed putters with the milled faces. So to conclude the bag, I would say the biggest kind of fashion statement within the golf bag, except the golf bag itself, is the head covers. What's on the driver? What's on the 3-wood? What's on the putter at the moment?
I have a pretty special head cover on my driver. I was lucky enough to do Old Course reversed last year.
Wow. So for the listeners on audio, this is an Old Course reverse head cover.
Yeah. So I was invited by the very good folks at TravisMathew, who have a sponsorship partnership with the Old Course at St Andrews. So I was invited up last year to do. I've been to the Old Course many times. I've been to the Open in 2022. I went to the Ladies Open in 2024. 4, I think it
Mhm.
was, or 5. So I've been up there a couple of times, never played the golf course. TravisMathew invited me, and I played the sort of the normal route round on the first day, and then played the reverse on the second day, and stayed in the Russocks for 3 nights. Honestly, just I
Unreal.
like when you talk about bucket lists and doing stuff. Obviously, the top of my bucket list is attending the Masters. Like that's the top of my bucket list. But very close behind that was one, just playing the old course is just one. As a massive golf fan as I am, but to do it in the reverse was just an really really interesting experience to get to do that.
Have you seen just recently? There was a video circulating where Tiger was asked if he had a bucket list for golf still, and he was just like, "Yeah, I really want to play the old course in reverse."
I have seen that. I think I might have made reference to that in a video or an Instagram post I did around when I played the old course reversed. I think
Nice.
so. Yeah, it was really really cool. That was a great trip, and TravisMathew were unbelievable hosts, and so that's been on my golf bag for a while. I was Under Armour invited me out last year, so I had to
Hmm.
I've got a Ryder Cup. You can kind of see it behind me there. Have a
Yep.
Ryder Cup. So I had that head cover when we went out to America. 'Cause it
I
shortened
see
it
the
up.
caddy bib, the old course reverse caddy
Yeah,
bib
of
behind you as
course,
well.
reverse bid with
Wow,
my
look at
name
that.
on that back there as well. So
Hey,
that's
and
quite
I'm
cool.
going to say, I mean, that is an amazing, unbelievable story, unbelievable experience, and let's elevate your bucket list. You want to be aiming to play Augusta. You'll attend the Masters, no problem. I think, all God willing, with what brands do these days. Like I know a couple of people who have got on. I've got a friend who works for G4. He played it on the Monday after the Masters. Like Rick Shields played it because of his BMW partnership or Mercedes, can't remember.
Yeah.
Like there's ways to go and play that golf course if you're in the space.
Yeah, I know. Part of me thought to myself, do I just join like a Golf Monthly or a Today's Golfer and try and become like a really good golf journalist and then enter
Yeah.
the ballot just to cover the Masters and then enter the ballot to try and play it? Look, if one day in my golfing life I get the opportunity to just walk on the grounds there is going to be like walking it in a dream. Like I've spoken to a couple of people recently who are going this year, and it's just like it's just so much. It's my favorite tournament that we watch every year. I think it kind of is because of the time of the year that it is. We're all starved of good golf in the UK, so to for it to be April time, and it kind of almost feels like that kickoff. As cliche as it might be, the
Hmm.
kickoff of the golf season's the Masters, and it's sort of, yeah, for me. Look, if I as I said, if I get to walk the premises, I'll be over the moon. If I get to step on an actual tee box and a green, that's just the problem is. To tell you what the problem is, and you'll probably feel the same way about this as I do. If I played badly, how disappointing! Like I want to hit my tee shot on 15 to the top of the hill, where they all then
Mm.
play there. Like if I slice that and I'm in the trees and I've got to punch out, it's just not. I want to hit the shot in from the top of the hill. Like I want to hit a decent tee shot on 13. Like I want to play the golf course as you play it in video games and how you see the guys play it on tour.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play it that well, so I'd almost just want to walk around and just drop balls in spots and just hit shots from there and not worry
Yeah.
about a scorecard.
So I'll tell you an unbelievable story. So I caddied at a golf club, very posh golf club in Surrey last summer, and I met like more than one hand's worth of people who had played it. And the best story I got from one of them was he went when he was 15 with his dad. Dad knew the member, right? And they were staying in Eisenhower House, which is the first house on the left on the 10th tee. It's where Rory hit it into when he had his meltdown. And they got in and they were spending a night and then the first round. And the guy told me the story, woke up as a 15-year-old at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning. He was so excited. He just couldn't sleep. Coming
Yeah.
across from the UK, jet lagged, all the rest of it. And he goes to wake his dad up, and his dad isn't in the bedroom. Turns out the dad and the member were still in the clubhouse at 4 a.m. on the source. Like they're just working their way through whatever. And so they came back as he was already up. And the member and dad went to bed for a couple of hours before their 9 o'clock tea time, whatever. And the member left his green jacket in the living room. And this 15-year-old kid looked at it, sound asleep upstairs, and he thought, this is my moment. Slipped it on, and he's got a couple of pictures as a 15-year-old, wearing the green jacket, and then went out and played 2 days in a row, shot a couple of low 80s or whatever. And I just was like, that is,
wow.
I mean, if that isn't the best golf story, like, just talk about dreams.
That's insane. Yeah, that's mad. That is mad.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So sorry, got a bit off topic there. So you got the old course reverse driver, and then to finish off the bag.
Yeah, I've got another very special head cover. Member at Prince's. Every year at Prince's, they have the Saracen Trophy, which is a member competition. Well, it's a member competition. It's like a member guest competition. It can be member, can be member guest. It's pairs. It's played over August bank holiday weekend. It's a lot of booze. It's a lot of fun. It's the best. It's my favorite weekend of golf that I get to play every year. And so, yeah, it's a pairs, fourball, better ball. You're split into groups, and then the winners of each group go through to the playoff. There's 10 groups. So the winners of every group, you play 9-hole matches. You play 5 9-hole matches over 2 days against the rest of the people in your group. If you win your group, you go through to the final playoff. And then if you come second in your group, every pair that comes second in the groups, the player with the highest handicap goes through to what we call the mini point playoff. And I don't know if you've been to Prince's before, but so the outside the back of the clubhouse, you've got really big putting green. Then you've got sort of 40 yards of cut sort of fairway fringe grass, and then you've got decent sized pitching green back there, 4 or 5 flags or whatever. And so it's about a 70-yard shot, and they lay a AstroTurf range mat down on the patio at the back of the clubhouse, and you hit the highest handicapper in the pair, 1 ball, and it's closest to the pin, 70 yards on one of the flags that they're leaving on the pitching green. But to caveat it, you've got everyone who's not played stays around and is all over the balcony. There's heckling. There's a lot of banter flying back and forth. A lot of beers consumed, and so it's been it's a very, very. I reckon I've never had to hit the shot. My partner hit it first year I played. But if I don't know if I have what it takes to hit that shot. If I'm really like, that would be maybe the most nervous I would ever be over a golf shot. But then if you so whoever hits it closest gets the final spot in the playoff. You have 11 teams playing foursomes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do there's 3 holes, and after the first hole 4 teams get cut, second hole like another 4 teams get cut, something like that. And if there's ties, there's chip offs, and it just becomes it's just carnage for like 3 or 4 holes until you've got the last 4 teams go down the last. Me and my partner came 4th a couple of years ago, so we made it to the final hole, and I hit a terrible 5-iron that cost us. Yeah, my partner hit a great drive down the fairway. My partner Sean, who's one of the greenkeepers at Prince's, and he hit a great drive, and I had like 200 yards in, and I've hit 205, something like that, and I hit a horrible. It was from the middle of the face, but it was a terrible hook into. We had to take an unplayable, and it was not. So, yeah, we ended up scratching out at 4th place. So yeah, it's my favorite weekend, but everyone gets a little goodie bag when they arrive, and it's a nice PRG Saracen Trophy head cover.
Yeah,
so
I think that logo. I'm a massive logo man,
mm-hmm.
and that is a good one.
Yeah, because this is the member logo. So you get
really even
two
better.
logos. So you've got normally the non-member logo has the circle, that oval that sort of sits around the outside, and then the member logo is just the sort of, I think it's the walking man. I think it's name. I could be wrong on that. Princess, sorry if I'm wrong on that, but yes, that's the head cover game, and then you've seen a couple of the putter head covers. So traditionally, I've got an old Macra Hanish head cover behind me. Which, if you like logos, just very quickly,
Yeah, go on, hit me.
this is just an absolute all timer logo. I think it's a toucan. Could be wrong. It kind of looks like, oh, I am wrong. It looks like a toucan, but it's not. But yeah, it's just a cool golf club logos.
Yeah, so okay, let's kind of move our way into logos. Now, I assume you make a choice to not wear logoed items because of the Instagram, etc. Is that true? I very rarely see you in a logoed item, whereas I'm at a point where I don't think I wear any quarter zips or any polos or any hats that aren't logoed, and I'm always hoping to go to the course with a great logo to then add to my collection. That's how I shop as a golf fashion connoisseur.
I saw your social clip on this the other day of the bare minimum to when you're visiting a pro shop is. I did see that clip. I have some. If I'm going to go somewhere where I probably feel like I'm not going to go again, I'll buy a shirt, or I'll definitely buy a hat. Like, I've got a lot of hats I've got a Yas Links hat behind me.
Nice.
I've got some Streamsong hats. I was lucky enough to do 36 holes at Wingfoot a couple of years ago, so I have
nice. That's a great logo.
That all-time logo, the Wingfoot logo. So I have a couple of Wingfoot hats. I've got a Wingfoot shirt. So yeah, I will, if I'm playing somewhere that's like mega, and I like the logo. So like I played Bethpage. I played Bethpage on the trip that I did to Wingfoot, and the Bethpage logo isn't fantastic. You probably it's one of those ones where you probably don't even know what it is. It's not. It's like that. It's not iconic. So I got a hat because I was there, and I thought definitely would do that. But then, like, there's other ones that I've got. I played Baltimore Country Club last year, and that's just, they've got a couple of logos on, and I love the Imperial Headwear do a fantastic job with their hats. If you go to a good club in America, there's loads of Imperial hats with different logos on, and so I picked up an Imperial Baltimore Country Club that had just a really cool flag on it, which was great. So yeah, I wear a few bits that have club logos on, but not loads. Like, I've got an old Royal St George's member logo quarter zip in the wardrobe that I wear every now and again, but not. The problem is, I have so many items of clothing, which I know, like, that sounds. I might sound silly saying that, but I like, and so for me to just like pick something out of the wardrobe to wear, I'll probably be wearing it to either create some content on it, or sort of, maybe it's a latest collection that I need to wear to test it or something like that. So more often than not, when I play, that's the purpose of why I'm playing. So I kind of almost don't gravitate towards the stuff that has the logos on. Like the Wingfoot shirt I bought, I've never worn. Doesn't have the tags on it, but I've never played golf in it because, one, I want to keep it really special. I want to keep it nice. It's super fresh. It's still got all the folds in it that it would have had when I picked it up in the store in the pro shop. So there's an element. It's an RLX.
RLX Wingfoot. Cool. That's a piece.
And it's navy as well, so it's like a staple. It's a really great basic, but it's lovely, and I almost don't really want to wear it.
So you touched on, you mentioned the member logo at Royal St George's. Someone actually texted me this week and asked me to debate this question. Are you able to wear whatever, an item that has a member's logo on it from a
No,
club you're
I
not
know.
a member of.
I know where you're going. Not a member logo of a club that you're not a member of.
Can you wear that?
So the member logo stuff's really tough because obviously it's the really cool stuff to get hold of. So
It's always the best stuff. That's the problem. It's always the best stuff.
it is always a really cool stuff. I don't know. That's a real great. I'm a big believer in you shouldn't wear a club logo of a place you've never played before.
Oh, 100%.
So
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in that as
That's concrete.
That might upset some people, but I'm quite big on that. Member logo is, I think the member logo, as you say, the member logo stuff's normally really cool. So it's normally a cooler logo than the traditional logo, and so yeah. But you've probably bought. The thing is, you've not bought that at the club. That's a Vinted or an eBay or something like that potentially. Unless you know someone who's a member who, and even that's a tough line to
Grey area.
Yeah, you don't want to get that member in trouble for buying stuff and then giving it to mates or whatever. Because like the member stuff, like the Prince's member stuff, like that's for members. Like you're not supposed to purchase it to give it away as gifts or all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Oh no, you can get yourself in hot water.
And like, as a member, it's like it's nice. Like we pay our subs or whatever, and you support the golf club, and so that's a logo for you to enjoy. So yeah, I kind of maybe you should.
Yeah, it sounds like a maybe all round. It's one of those. I think if you're presented with the opportunity, it'd be hard to say no. However, that opportunity would come, but ultimately, it's not how it's supposed to work.
No,
I agree with you. Obviously, you can't be wearing stuff of a club you've never played at. We also don't think that you should have a golf bag with a logo that's a club you're not a member of. I think head covers you can get wild with that. But
I was going to say head covers, member logo head covers is different. Sort of hats are different, but I think there's almost something like with shirts and mid layers, just feels like you're almost representing a little bit too much, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, where was I? I would cast down my list. So we've covered logos. You mentioned your trip to LA. I wanted to touch on that very quickly because I know you did quite a lot of work with Quiet Golf, and I'd like to talk about them and then kind of crescendo into talking about some of the up and coming brands that are in the space at the moment. I really like their stuff. I think it's really cool. You don't see a huge amount of it over in the UK, but I followed your journey and what you did there, and I've been seeing it popping up a little bit. That's a cool brand.
Yeah, they're really cool, and I'm very big into my very minimal styling, really nice colors, great tones, that sort of stuff. And Quiet Golf, that's kind of rooted in the brand name. Quiet Golf. It's quiet fashion. It's not loud. It's not in your face. It's not obscene patterns, prints, all that sort of stuff. But it's just really good quality gear. It's nice fitting stuff. And the designs are quite minimal, and they use great colors. And so they're a brand that I sort of have been on my radar for a little while. Anytime I find like a brand that has like a store, like they do in Costa Mesa in California. We were staying about an hour and 20 minutes away from the store, and I had a spare afternoon while I was out in LA, and I just thought, you know what, I've got to make a trip to the store. I've got to go and see the Adidas collab that they did with the footwear for the Sambas had come out either on that day or the day before, and so I wanted to go and see if they had a pair of those in stock, because from everything I'd heard they were quite limited, and it was only Quiet Golf that was selling them. Adidas weren't selling them on their website, so it was you could only get them from Quiet Golf, which has an element of sort of fun to it. So yeah, I went and visited the store, and it's just really nicely laid out. It's great aesthetic in there. It's a good vibe. Shane, who was working in there at the time, who does a couple of their, who's been a model for a couple of their campaigns that they've done. great guy. Like it's US hospitality. It's you get a great welcome when you go in the store. They got NFL was on at the time. They got like a really nice couch sort of seating area that you sit down and chill out, and you're encouraged to do that and shop at your leisure. They got a sim in the back that you can hit a couple of shots in the sim, and it's a really different golf experience to what you get sort of traditional retail, I suppose, maybe here in the UK or maybe other places. But yeah, I just love the whole brand. Everything that they do is great. I've got to know the I think founder fairly well over the last couple of months. They were at the PGA
Mm-hmm.
show in January, so I got a chance to sort of go and say hello there as well. And yeah, they just do great stuff. I need more of it in my wardrobe this year because I'm enjoying that. The US old money sort of vibe is what I'm quite enjoying wearing when I play at the moment, especially when it's warm and dry, which
Yeah.
we haven't really had in the UK recently. But yeah, I love what they're doing. Yeah, if I could, I dare say, if I could only wear one brand for forever, I think they'd be fairly. I haven't tried their trousers yet, so I have to kind of maybe put a bit of a pause on that because trousers are quite important. But shirts,
You're almost there.
yeah, shirts wise, I love what they do. Shirts wise, it's great fits, it's great colors, as I said. So yeah, they do good stuff.
Nice. And then we must talk about Manners. Manners, not a brand I necessarily would wear. I see the knitwear that you wear quite a lot, the navy one. I do think that's quite a smart piece, but the more kind of streetwear style stuff, not necessarily my style. But what I will say about them, and I really do give them their flowers, their marketing videos are unbelievable. I think the announcement of Luke Kwan signing with them was so clever, and then
Very good.
the whole stuff around the is it the club collection, I believe it's called.
Right.
Just incredibly smart. So I just love your 2 cents on Manners as a brand and what they've been doing.
Yeah, they, as you say, like the marketing that they do and the videos they put together, and I know of a couple of the guys who do some videos for them, do some imagery for them, and they're top photographers, top videographers. They do as we've already said, just a fantastic job at their marketing and their activations. And so yeah, when the brand first started, I think almost like Melbourne did in a way, they sort of pigeonholed themselves a little bit into appealing to a certain golfer, which
Mm-hmm.
might not necessarily have been you and I back when the brand first came onto the scene. But you've seen that slow shift, almost like Melbourne have done as well. As you know, if you said right at the start of Manners' existence that they were going to do a merino quarter zip, they'd have probably gone, "We're not going to do that." But you have to at some point, as I said with Melbourne, is you kind of have to start appealing to everyone if you want to sell to everyone, right? So I think, and they've done a really great job at providing more and more basic quality products that appeal to everyone while still keeping within the ethos of the brand and what the brand wants to be and who they want to appeal to. But they've done a good job of starting to produce some products that appeal to more of the masses. That's why I'm like, when they first came out, they weren't really on my radar because I, like yourself, wouldn't envision myself wearing their gear. But as time's gone on, I feel more and more like every collection that comes out. I'm like, oh yeah, I could wear that. Like that looks good. Like, oh, it's a good basic polo shirt. That looks nice. I got one of the long sleeve polos from their foul weather collection for winter that they did last year, which again, great name for a autumn winter collection, foul
Yeah,
weather.
so good.
Like very, very cool. And the club collection stuff, being part of the club, that sort of stuff is also again very clever. So they do a great job with their marketing. Products have not always been to my taste, and that's fine. Every brand is not for everyone, but as they've grown as a brand and been able to expand their offering, they've started to do some stuff that I look at and go, yeah, cool. I could definitely get involved in that on the golf course. It's not like Melbourne is for me. Melbourne's more off the golf course for me, but Manners would be more on the golf course of the stuff that I look at and think, yeah, I could wear that. They got a couple of nice hoodies as part of the new drop, technical fabric hoodies. So yeah,
And I think
they've done a great job.
that's the way with that kind of brand. You would cherry pick from it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And there are definitely good items in there, and I think they've nailed their styling. As I said, their media's great. I think Shortside is one of the most criminally underfollowed accounts on Instagram. I think he does incredibly good videos. He's obviously part of their team. They've actually just signed a kid called Fairway Films that I've been following along for a while as well. And
Okay.
yeah, like just really good people, good ideas. And every time they have a drop, I'm interested. I'm there. I'm consuming what they've got to do. So I think that has to be a big win for them. So to kind of conclude our chat on golf fashion, now I think most of the listeners will know Peter Millar, JL, FootJoy Clothing, all the rest of it. But can you give us a top 5 up and coming brands, ones that we should be looking out for and should be on our radar for the next couple of years?
Okay, top 5. Well, Quiet Golf I'll put in there as one that people need to be aware of. If you like a little bit more of a streetweary sort of vibe, brand called Pluto Golf, who people should be aware of what they do. It's a little bit. Well, I say a little bit. It's quite a bit more streetweary than you might think I would suggest. But they do some really cool shoes. The shoes are very on-course, off-course shoes, very much sort of Stan Smith sort of vibe, but with a little bit more to them. I met them at the PGA show in person for the first time. Like cracking guys. They've got some really big ideas of what they want to do for the rest of this year and going forward. So definitely check them out. Public Drip are another one. So a lot. The sad thing for me is it's a lot of US based brands that we struggle to get over here, and maybe that's part of the allure to it. Is that they're just difficult to get. Therefore, I sort of chase them more. But Public Drip do some great stuff. Details, Sublime. Some of the colors that they use as part of the collection. I'm a big colors guy. I really like the part of the golf fashion thing that's really always interested me is matching colors together and outfits together, and so Public Drip do a great job with that. Again, another US brand, which is Sugarloaf Social Club.
I've actually got them. I've got them jotted down. I was going to mention them in the same breath of Quires Golf. Like I really like the Sugarloaf Social Club. A great logo.
A fantastic logo. Fantastic logo. That's like their, again, very old money sort of vibe to US old money vibe, which is sort of what I like. And then we'll go students as well. So Tommy Fleetwood's been seen wearing one of the student shirts, I think, for a TGL match, maybe last week, I think it was. And so they're another brand that I look at and think, maybe a year or so ago, I wouldn't have given them a look because they don't really do sort of too much stuff that I see myself wearing, but how that's changed and what they starting to offer now. So yeah, I think that's a nice 5 for people to sort of be aware of. And as popularity, as the sport continues to grow and more people play, these brands who may be more US based now will feel the need to supply globally, because to try and maximize the reach of product, brand name, and ultimately revenue, I think you sort of need to do a little bit of the global stuff. So yeah, hopefully that starts to happen.
Very nice. And then, sorry, I've jumped the gun a little bit. One final question in golf fashion. Mm-hmm. If there's one discontinued item that you could bring back into production, what would it be?
It's do you know what? It's the easiest thing, because I had this conversation a couple of weeks ago. I should have mentioned McCade in the last segment for top 5. What they've started to do as the brand's grown, the products that they're able to offer, just insane. But they used to do a regular fit trouser, and I've had chats with them in the past about, guys, the regular fit trouser was replaced by the Lynx Tech trouser. Great pair of trousers, don't get me wrong. But for some reason, this regular trouser just used to fit my body just as I want it, like in every way. Like, because of my years playing football, I have a slightly bigger bum than maybe some other lads who might be sort of my waist size. So I've always gravitated towards trousers that have that little bit extra room in the thigh. And
Hmm.
these trousers used to have. I've still got a pair, so I do still wear them on a regular basis. But they've just got a great taper from like top of the leg down to the ankle. I had them taken up an inch or so, which I do quite regularly with some of my trousers. I think
Hmm.
tailoring is an element of golf fashion that's never spoken about that should be. People should be getting their gear tailored. Um, but that's another whole other topic altogether. But yeah, the regular fit trouser from McCade is, if we could have that back in a plethora of colours, that'd be much appreciated from me.
Love it. All right, let's move on to some golf travel. So, by the
Yes.
sounds of it, I know you're at Streamsong, which looks amazing. You've mentioned you played Wingfoot. I assume you played some stuff out in California. What is your ultimate golf destination? Hit us with it. Hit us with the courses. Where really speaks to you?
Yeah, it's you've already mentioned it. It's quite an easy one for me. I have been very lucky to get to go and play all these places, and Wingfoot was insane. Like, I played 36 holes one day. It was 26 degrees, 27 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and we ended up finishing the day sat on a couple of, in America you get those great wooden seats that we don't seem to have in the UK. Sipping an Arnold Palmer, sat on the back of the 18th green, sun setting, gorgeous temperature. It was one of the moments of the year for me for 2024 when I got to go there. But I love Streamsong. Having been to Streamsong a couple of times now. This year, January, I was lucky enough to stay in the hotel. The hotel is sensational. Like, it's a great hotel. What I love there is it's just the golf is so good. Like, the golf courses are great. I've played all three now. They all offer something a little bit different. I don't drive the ball great. They all offer a little bit of width off the tee, which I always appreciate. Helps my enjoyment of the game of golf a little bit more if I can be maybe not quite on it with a driver, but still have a second shot, which I
Mhm.
appreciate. So, and just the whole hospitality there is just, it's so good. They've got shuttles, they've got restaurants at the different clubhouses, so you can kind of pick or choose where you want to go. And it's a really, once you're on site, I mean, you're miles away from anything really when you're on site at Stream. So I don't know if you've been there, but it's it's great. Once you're on site, you stay on site, but they have you well and truly catered. There's like, food's great, beers are good, and you just, one of my favorite feelings in golf is when you finish a round and you're sat in the clubhouse and you have nowhere to be. Is just one of the, and I had that at Streamsong.
I would
Gone.
I would say that is one of the great beers. We've spoken about what the great beers in life are. There's airport beers, there's après ski beers. The golf post amazing round of golf with nowhere to be beer is
Do you know what? I'll have another one. I just get another Modelo. Yeah, no problem at all. That's what, like, we finished the round on the black course. I think we finished at maybe 1, 2 o'clock. I think it was maybe 3 o'clock. We finished, and it's just like the sun's out. It was hot that day, and it's just like I'm just sat in an air conditioned clubhouse. I'm at the bar, which is, again, top. To sit and drink a beer at the bar is brilliant. We've got massive TV on. There's whatever US sport on the telly, and all I've got to do is get in a shuttle to go back to the hotel, to my hotel room, to get ready to go and have some dinner, and I could have dinner at whatever time I really wanted. So it was just to be. So yeah, I love Streamsong. I've been there a couple of years in a row now, and just, it's just great vibes when you're there.
how do you rank the courses there?
I'm maybe a little bit different to some others. I hear people rank blue and red ahead of black. I don't know if it's because I played very good when I played black, but
Always help.
yeah, think I was 5 under through 7 on black. I really enjoyed black, and I enjoyed black because I believe it's Gil Hans did black, and it's very generous off the tee, but the green complexes are nuts. Like, they are massive, but with loads of slope, loads of undulation. So what I love in golf is the ability to be creative. Now, long game wise, I'm not good enough to be creative in the long game for the most part, unless I'm swinging really well. But anytime I get a chance to have sort of 140 into the green, and I've got a chance that I can use 9-iron pitching wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge, lob wedge, whatever, to hit a shot into a green, to use a slope, to have a ball feed down towards a hole or anything like that. That's what I love when playing rounds of golf, and that's what the black course for me gave you ahead of the blue and red. Blue and red give you that, but like the slopes in the green from the fairway, because the greens are so big on the black, you can just clearly see from the fairway where the slope is. And it's just like, oh, okay, I need to aim it left of the hole on here, because there's no like subtle nuance breaks in the greens. It's literally massive slopes. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to hit it up there, and I'm going to watch that ball trickle down all the way and see how close I can get it to the hole. And that's what excites me. So for me, black was my favorite. And then I think probably red, then probably blue. I'm not quite sure how Top 100 or whichever golf course ranking website you want to take it from, I'm not sure how they have it. I think for me, I think blue may be higher than red, then black.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I don't know the list either. What I do know is none of them are going in the top 100 in the world, which I think is always... like, if you're a big resort like that and it's an incredibly expensive one, I know various people that have gone, just to not have that cooling card. So I was going to say, I'm going on my first equivalent-ish trip to Sand Valley this summer.
Oh, awesome, man. That's
they've had the lead.
on my list.
Yeah, I mean, we've got cabin, 8 of us playing all the courses. It's going to be mega, but they've got the Lido now.
If someone drops out, just holler.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout.
Yeah, let me know.
But the Lido's now got into the World Top 100, which I really do think and a lot of people don't seem to say it's the best course there, but for the rankers have decided, and I do think that Streamsong, if they could just nerdle one in, that resort would just go to the next level. But I have only heard good things, and interesting.
They've got David McClay Kidd doing a course there at the moment that's being built. So the idea, obviously, they've got, I think it's Core Crenshaw, it's Gil Hans, it's Tom Doak did the blue, and then to have McClay Kidd do the, I'm not sure what color it's going to be, but he's doing the next one. So it's obviously, like, if you're a golf course architect junkie, which I'm not going to call myself a junkie, but I like it, I appreciate it. I'm a fried egg listener, worldwide for those who listen to the fried egg. So I kind of like my course architecture. So yeah, hopefully, maybe that one that David McClay Kidd does gets a look in.
I think it's going to be green, but don't quote me on that. Okay. That would be a relatively obvious color to go for. Yeah. But anyway, amazing. Yeah, I would love to go to Streamsong. And I said, I'm really looking forward to getting that kind of all on-site experience this summer as well. Okay, parting shot, as ever with any guest. I need your fantasy fourball and the course you're going to play at.
Course I'm going to play at. I'm going to play. Oh man, and I did give this some thought as well, but now you say it, I'm kind of going back and forth. Fantasy fourball, I think, would have to be. I'll go straight golfers, and I'll go with Tiger Woods. I'll go with Billy Horschel, and I'll go with Adam Scott. We're talking a straight fashion fourball, aside from obviously Tiger not being maybe the most fashionable bloke, but he is the GOAT. So he goes in, has to go in. And yeah, I think Horschel and Adam Scott from a fashion perspective is, for me, guys who have heavily influenced me over the last few years. So yeah, and then place. Do you know what? I'd love to host them at Chestfield Downs, which is where I grew up playing golf, just outside of Hertfordshire, just outside of Stevenage, which is where I grew up. Little used to be Crown Golf, little public pay and play. It's where I honed what little skills I have. So that would be fun. But I mean, somewhere like I'd host them at Prince's, and we'll have a few beers in the lodge afterwards. That'd be a really nice day's golf. So yeah, I could have gone with Augusta, but they're not going to let me on. So they might let me on me.
I always, if someone picks a course that they haven't played, I always ask them for a course that they then have played. So I think you covered all the bases nicely there. All right, Sam, I really, really appreciate you taking the time. As I said, that was super interesting from my perspective. Like, I'm obviously mad into this stuff as well, and to pick your brains has been incredibly interesting. As I said at the beginning, you are the golf fashion guy on socials. And as I said, if you don't follow you already, you should do. I think you're one of the best Instagram accounts out there at the moment. And I certainly love watching your content. So really appreciate it. And we are Full Program Golf. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And we will see you in the next one.
Thanks for having me, and enjoy Sand Valley.